Hey everyone, welcome back to Gracie May's Tarot. So today we have a video that was requested by a subscriber and it's kind of combined with another idea that I had. So we're going to be looking at essentially what is your future appearance going to be like. Now you can set the time frame yourself for this reading. You know, if you want to see what you'll look like in 3 months, a year, or if you just want to leave it open-ended, that's fine. I'm not going to give a time frame, but this is going to be your future appearance. So the video requested by a subscriber was your physical appearance, like a physical glow up. I'm going to combine that also with your style. So we're going to cover like all topics kind of related to your future appearance, you know, like tattoos, you know, your physical body, your overall energy, your style, your aesthetic, that kind of stuff. So anyway, we have 3 groups to choose from today. For pile 1, we have Sun-Kissed Hibiscus. This perfume has a very kind of elegant, sophisticated smell to it. It's not as beachy as like you would expect. It's something you could wear to a nice like formal occasion. You could even wear this on a job interview. It's a very sophisticated scent. For pile 2, we have Malibu by Juicy Couture. All the Juicy perfumes smell pretty similar to me. This one is one of my favorite daytime scents. It just, I don't know, it works kind of for all year round. Like I know it's called Malibu, but it's got enough warmth where you can wear it in the winter time, but it's also not so heavy that you can't wear it in the summer. I don't know, like it just works for all occasions. Like you can wear it to school, you can wear it to work, you can wear it just as your daytime, going out with friends, going to the beach scent. Like, I don't know, it's also the most gorgeous bottle ever. I love this. Okay, so that's pile 2. And then for pile 3, we have the Eau de Juice 100% chilled perfume. This was one of the Cosmo Girl perfumes, or Cosmopolitan perfumes. I don't know, this one also is a bit difficult to describe. It has a very unique scent to it, but it is something that I would say is very light and fun and flirty and girly, but in sort of a, almost sort of a scent that would work for anyone's personality. Like it's not so girly that it's like super floral or anything like that. Almost has a little bit of a berry scent to it. You could wear this just hanging out with friends. Like it's a very, very casual, light scent. Yeah, I feel like this is like a crowd pleaser, honestly, because it is like 100% chilled. Like it's not overbearing. Like pretty much anyone who smelled this would be like, yeah, it smells pretty good. You know, it's not a controversial scent is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people get this vibe. It's very chill. So yeah, so these are your options to choose from. Hopefully my scent descriptions made sense. You can pick according to the bottle, whatever is drawing your eye in, whatever the case may be. Also, I just want to say it doesn't apply for this reading, but I've been getting some comments about, just 2 comments, so maybe I'm being dramatic, but there's been some comments about the readings where you pick your group based upon the symbol in the thumbnail. Some people don't like that. I know other people do. So if you see future readings where you choose a symbol in the thumbnail, I'll make sure to also in the intro give an option to pick a group like this or based upon a pile or a deck, just so I'm accommodating everyone's preferences. So yes, like bear with me, like all the readings for July have been pre-filmed already, so you won't see that change until August, but just be aware I am reading your comments and I am definitely incorporating feedback when I get it. So yes, this is the reading we have planned for today. I'm sorry that this intro is so long. Also, there's a guy weed eating his grass across the street. Hopefully there's not too much background noise, but I've been waiting and waiting, and they keep doing yard work like every day, so I've just gotta film, you know? So hopefully you guys can't hear too much background noise. If you do, I apologize. All right, let's get into it. All right, pile 1, if you chose Sun-Kissed Hibiscus, welcome to your reading. So even just based upon the scent that you chose, there could be a little bit of a leveling up in how you present yourself at work, how you present yourself in school. There could be a change to your wardrobe in relation to that. You know, maybe you're getting more work clothes, maybe you've graduated school and you're starting to purchase, you know, that transition when you're wearing like hoodies and leggings and stuff, and then you have to go and find like a business casual wardrobe, or, you know, even if you work in the healthcare field, you're getting like cute scrubs, you know, stuff like that. There could be a leveling up in that area. Or maybe you're purchasing more, you know, evening wear. You're purchasing some nice dresses, or, you know, whatever you like to wear on a date night. You know, you're purchasing clothes that you can go out with your friends with, stuff like that. Could be a thing. I feel like also just with the energy of this perfume, there's more of like a quiet self-assurance that is coming through, like the kind of confidence that kind of speaks for itself, you know, the kind of confidence that doesn't have to be very loud. You know, there's just this sophisticated elegance, a little bit of like, I know who I am and I respect myself, and that self-respect kind of welcomes in or demands respect from other people. You know, like, I respect myself, so I'm going to expect you to respect me as well. You know, this is kind of the energy that comes through in your appearance, where you've done, my cat is scratching on her scratcher, I'm sorry. This is kind of the energy where you've done the inner work and now it's reflecting in the external. So, you know, because now you know how to hold boundaries, or now because you respect yourself, there's a sense of empowerment about the way that you carry yourself. You know, you're walking with your shoulders back, you're walking a little bit straighter, you know, you're meeting people's eyes, you know, you're not walking with your gaze on your feet, you know, so yeah, I feel like there's just something about the way that you're carrying yourself. It's something that's harder to pinpoint, but people are responding to you differently because of that energetic shift within you. Okay, let's get into your tarot now. I'll stop going on and on. So like I said in the intro, in case you skipped it, pile 1, we are not putting a time frame on this, so if you want to know how your appearance is changing in 3 months, a year, 6 months, or if you want to leave it open-ended, that's fine. I'm not going to specify, because you're all on a different journey here, right? All right, pile 1, please, Spirit. How is their physical appearance changing, their style, their aesthetic, their physical body, their energy, their wellness, how other people are responding to them? Pile 1. And also with this reading, I want to give a disclaimer, like, and I didn't do this in the intro because I know some people skip the intro, but we're not promoting any sort of ideal body type in this reading. That's not the goal here. All right, so pile 1, how is their physical appearance changing, their energy, how other people are responding to them? Pile 1, please, Spirit. And of course, a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. All right, pile 1, let's see. I thought this was the perfect tarot deck to use too. It's just so pretty and cute. I think it's probably the prettiest tarot deck that I own. Pile 1. And this is the Pastel Journey Tarot. I'm sure if you watch tarot readings, you've seen it floating around on YouTube. It was created by, I think her name's Vanessa Samina. So I'm sure you've watched her readings. But I'm doing better about putting the decks that I'm using in the description box, so you can always check there if you have any questions about the decks that I'm using or the oracle that I'm using. Let's see. Let's just start off with 4 tarot cards and see where we need to go from there. Yeah, let's do that. Your bottom of the deck is the 10 of Wands, and I feel like you're leaving this energy behind. You know, it's really very true. Like when you're not getting enough sleep, when you're not eating foods that are going to give you energy, foods that are going to give you necessary nutrients, you know, when you're just eating what is quick, easy, and available, or, you know, if you're eating not because you're hungry, but because you need to fulfill some sort of emotional need, or you're stress eating, you know, definitely that's something that we can all relate to, right? You know, food can be a source of comfort, right? Or even a distraction, or out of boredom, you know, things like that. You know, if you're not getting hydrated enough, if you're doing things in relation to your physical body that are not contributing to your wellness, or you're not what you're doing, but things that you're not doing, right? Like you're not doing any sort of physical self-care, or even the emotional and mental self-care, the spiritual self-care can show up in your body, you know, fatigue, stress, they affect our appearance, right? Like we know what it looks like when we look tired, when we look like we're not eating enough, you know, or we're not eating healthy foods, or, you know, things like that. It definitely shows up. Even in our skin, it shows up if we know, for example, like dairy breaks us out, but we've been stress eating cheese all week. I don't know. Stuff like that, you know. Well, now I have acne all over my face, you know, things like that. Like it shows up, right? And I feel like you're leaving that behind. You know, you're really prioritizing, and you're not taking on too much. You're not taking on other people's stuff that's really not your job to fix or heal. You know, you're not taking on the lion's share of responsibility at work. Remember when we said boundaries, like you're setting healthy boundaries with your employer, with even in sort of managing like schoolwork, you know, that can definitely take a toll. You know, when you're giving so much to school and you're not balancing that energy out in terms of taking care of yourself. But yeah, you're dropping some of these wands, you know, all of these wands cannot be carried. This isn't sustainable energy, okay? Eventually some of these wands are gonna fall. And you see, even the way she's clutching all of these roses, right? These roses have thorns. Like, it's not that carrying these roses is an easy task. Like, all of these roses are hurting her, you know, and she's clutching them to her chest here. And it takes effort to continue to hold something that could be painful. So for some of you, this is even burdens of like things you haven't healed, you know, past wounds, and they continue to hurt you because you continue to carry them instead of working through it. So this is thankfully energy you're leaving behind. You're letting this go, and it's going to lead to a physical glow up because you're going to look well rested. You're going to look like you're taking good care of yourself. And that shows up in your skin. It shows up in, you know, other physical aspects of your body. It shows up in the way that you carry yourself and how much energy you have, how keyed into the present moment you are. You know, like if you're tired, you don't have the energy to participate in conversations. You know, sometimes it's too much effort to even smile or to seem like you're engaged in a conversation because you're so tired, you're so fatigued, you know, and that can lead to self-isolation. And then we're on a slippery slope to depressive feelings, right? So to know that you're taking some time for rest and balancing some of that energy out with the Four of Swords here. Again, you're gonna seem so well rested, so grounded. I feel like if you're also someone who tends towards, you know, anxious thoughts and thinking of like, I have to get this done, I have to get that done, and you really tie your self-worth to your productivity level, that thankfully is going to be changing, and it's going to really manifest again in a physical glow up. Because you're going to be participating in life more. You know, it's not going to be all work. Because with pile one, my pile ones tend to be a little bit more serious. They tend to be my leaders, my go-getters, my ambitious people. And that can take a toll. Like, you know, if you have a type A personality, that has been linked to like heart disease. You know, it's stress, it's chronic stress, it's chronic fatigue, and you're resolving that, and it's gonna show up, and you're gonna have more to give to other people as a result. You can't pour from an empty cup. I say it all the time. You're finally learning that. You're finally learning that. And I will say too, there's something coming through about your hair. Like, it's kind of weird, but I feel like your hair in some ways is an indicator of how well you're feeling. So I think you're gonna have more energy to put into styling your hair, doing a cute hairstyle. There's something there, like you're accessorizing your hair differently. You're dyeing your hair a different color. There's something about your hair that is changing that I think is gonna make you feel really good about yourself. And I think just the simple act of styling your hair, whatever that means for you personally, whatever fixing your hair means, I think taking that time out in the mornings or whatever you're getting ready for yourself is really gonna make you see value in taking some time, slowing down, and doing just something very nice and very simple for yourself. I also see with this Magician card here, if you've been trying to manifest some physical changes within you, and that doesn't mean you're just sitting around and doing nothing. I used to set intentions, and I still do this, for different things, like before I begin my workout. So I like to jump rope. That's just like what I like to do. Before I would jump rope, I would set an intention, and sometimes it would be specific and sometimes it would be a bit vague, but then I would envision that energy that I'm expending into that workout would then be energy channeled into this manifestation. And so I would set an intention like, this workout is going to bring me into alignment and help me stay in alignment with my higher self, and that would be the intention that I would set. Or I would set, this workout is going to bring me into alignment with my dream body. Or this workout is going to nourish me and give me energy so I can do everything I want to do today, and I'm going to feel really good. Or I would even say, like, this workout is going to bring me into alignment with peace and with happiness. Whatever the case may be, that could also be something that helps you manifest whatever physical glow up you're wanting, or even if it's just, I want to have more energy, because again, I think energy is so important for this pile. You guys have big things you're working on. You have big goals, big dreams, and it's like you want that inner work that you're doing to be reflected in your external circumstances. And so I think that if you can view taking care of your body as a vessel, as a means of channeling energy to achieving your dreams and to giving you more energy to go after your dreams, that's going to help move this physical glow up along. I also feel like there's something about the way that you're presenting yourself. Your style is changing, but it's changing in the way that you accessorize. Like that specifically, there's something about accessories that's coming through and that's going to change the way in which you present yourself. It's not like you're buying a whole new wardrobe. Could be certain aspects of your wardrobe that are changed, like we got in the very beginning. Maybe you're buying more professional clothes or more evening out clothes. But I think for this group in particular, it's not that you're changing your entire wardrobe, but you're changing the way that you style it and the accessories that you add to it. So, you know, for my feminines, could be like earrings, necklaces, hair accessories in particular. We got, and you know, not to say that those who are more masculine presenting can't wear those things either, but I think for my divine feminines, that's coming through pretty strongly. For my people who identify more with masculine energy, he's been on my mind a lot since the trial, but I'm envisioning like Johnny Depp and the ad campaigns for like the Suavage Dior campaigns that he had. You know, even during the trial, even when he was wearing his suit, You know, Johnny Depp had like all the rings on his fingers. But yeah, there's something about the way that you layer the accessories. And I think that's maybe a bit new for you, or something that you're changing, you know, but there's something there about the accessories that are sort of adding a whole new fresh aesthetic to, I think, your existing wardrobe. Even like purses, bags that you carry, you know, that's also something that's adding some more interest, I think, visually to your wardrobe there. Even like your coffee cup that you carry, you know, stuff like that. I think that there is a leveling up there. Glasses, if you wear glasses, something new about your glasses. I think that, again, like if you've been doing some sort of new workout routine and you've been trying to, you know, have some sort of body glow up, you know, there's something that you really want to work on, like, you know, I don't want to trigger anyone, but let's just say, for example, you're like, I really want to tone up my arms, and that's your point of focus. I think if you continue to put in that work, but then you say positive affirmations to yourself, or you envision yourself, you know, with those nice toned up arms that you're wanting, you know, whatever that looks like to you, that's gonna help move this along. You're gonna get there either way, but I think Spirit is saying, you know, you guys are so hardworking that Spirit is saying, you know, not everything has to be hard work. You know, sometimes you can just ask for things and envision them, and they can come a little bit easier to you. Also could maybe be something with your nails, with accessories, you know, maybe you've never been one to do your nails, but then you discover like nail wraps, and then you buy a bunch of cool nail wraps, you know, and that becomes something new that you're known for. I think with pile 1 as well, there's something about you having a signature something, like a signature scent, and you know, and you become known for that fragrance, or a signature color that you're known for. Everyone's like, oh yeah, like they love black, or they love yellow, or yeah, they always have like the coolest purses, you know, they always have the coolest hair clips, or yeah, there's just something there. And it could even be that you're getting a cool new haircut. That's really, because there's something again about your hair in particular that's coming through. Or for those of you who are into tattoos, I'm not seeing that as strongly, but maybe you do get a cool tattoo that you become known for, like it's in a very visible area. That's only going to be for some of you though, because I'm not getting that quite as strongly for this pile, but the message did come through, so I wanted to say that. All right, let's get into your oracles. All right, let's see here. Oh, and even I didn't really address this moon card. I kind of did in my head, and then I don't think I verbalized it. That uncertainty that I think has maybe been lingering, like maybe this isn't for all of you, but it's kind of the little things, like if you don't walk with your head held high, you know, if you know, kind of slouch when you're sitting, or maybe you have something about your physical body that you're a bit insecure about and you try to hide it, you know, with the moon here. You can kind of see how her eyes are downcast. I do think that there's something there about going within, you know, understanding the importance of acceptance. And it's from a place of acceptance that we can create change, but there's also some things about ourselves that, again, like we just need to accept and we need to love, you know, like you shouldn't dislike yourself until the change comes that you're wanting, you know, like you should always come from a place of love and acceptance towards yourself, even if you're trying to create some sort of external change about yourself. And so I think there's just more self-love. Again, like I don't think it's loud in your face, like fake it till you make it kind of confidence. I think it's come from a place of like gentle acceptance and love and nurturing of yourself and understanding that you have value, and that just as you show up for other things that you're responsible for your life, like work and school and family and friends or your partner, you should also equally show up for yourself. And so I feel like that self-love and that respect, that gentle, nurturing energy, you're kind of learning how to mother yourself. And I think that's really powerful. And I think it's going to show up, in a really beautiful way in the future for you. All right, pile 1. How is your physical appearance changing your style? This is kind of funny. How is your physical appearance changing your style? How other people view you? How you see yourself? Pile 1. What do we need to know, please, Spirit? Pile 1. I'm going to get one more card for you guys. One more card. Okay. Now, I will say, this card came out really quickly, right? And this one took a little bit longer. So I think you'll see this change first, and then you'll see this change. So let's get into it. It says, spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. Don Juan. Yeah, I think that this is more a little bit superficial than this card, right? So I think you'll see this change first, and that people are just seeing you as more seductive. And I think that comes from that self-respect, you know? So I feel like if you were someone who was very shy, felt uncomfortable with speaking to other people, you know, you didn't want the spotlight to be on you, you didn't want to be the center of attention, kind of like a shrinking, like, wallflower. I think that's changing. And again, like, it's not like you have to be the loudest person in the room. It's just, you're drawing people in. People are being drawn to you because it's that self-respect that is very sexy. It's very appealing. You know, not a lot of people truly have a sense of themselves, you know, and I think it comes from this reflection that you've done and how you've come to know yourself a lot more deeply. And so it's not that other people are telling you who you are. You know yourself and you love yourself, you accept yourself, and that comes through in how you carry yourself. Okay, and then we have student here. Humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. You've become a student of yourself. Like, I feel like there's a lot here about self-exploration, and it's sort of that curiosity when it comes to getting to know yourself on a deeper level, and then giving yourself what you need, and then understanding how you can manifest certain things to change, and how there needs to be acceptance of other things that cannot be changed. And so I feel like it's just sort of this all-encompassing glow up. You know, all of this inner work that you're doing is going to be reflected in your outer appearance. You know, you're just glowing a little bit brighter. And that glow that's coming through is really going to manifest, I feel like, in terms of your confidence and how you carry yourself. Our physical appearance is always changing, right? As we age, it's just part of the process. And then if we try to enact certain changes in, you know, our diet, our activity level, you know, our style, things like that, we can change our appearance even more, right? But I feel like even our minds change, right? As we get older and we learn more and we become more spiritually aware, or whatever the case may be, become more emotionally mature, we're always changing, right? And so I feel like there's something there where you're like, even as I change, even as I age, even as I grow and I adapt, that love I have for myself is eternal. And because I love myself in this very whole and pure way, because Six of Cups can also talk about childhood nostalgia and the inner child. And so it's almost like you're showing up as your own soulmate. Like, you're like, you know, I've been with myself. My soul and I are inseparable. You know, like, even in the next incarnation, I may have a completely different life, a completely different outer appearance, but my soul is eternal, right? Like, my soul is my soul. And so it's time to love myself and come from that perspective. You know, there's no outrunning who you are, right? And so it's slowing down. It's becoming curious, becoming a student, getting to know yourself on that soul level. And I think honestly, for a lot of you, even though this isn't a love reading, I think that if you are single, this is kind of preparing you for real love here, true love. An honest and pure connection is what's coming through here. But I think with that Six of Cups, I think there's also something about your appearance that's getting back to your inner child in a way. Like, for example, if you always wanted to dye your hair when you were younger and you were told you couldn't do that, well, now you're doing it. Or if you were always told, you know, to wear your hair a certain way, like you had to keep it long, you couldn't cut it, or the opposite. I think you're doing that. I think you're doing things that you weren't allowed to do when you were younger. And it's kind of cute because I don't think it matters really how old you are now, but I think you're shedding some of those things that you were told about what it means to be beautiful or what it means to be attractive. You're letting that go, and you're sort of like not only accepting who you are and finding that beauty already within yourself, but I also think that you're like, what do I find attractive, you know? And you're embodying that for yourself. You know, you're not listening to the cultural standard or the standard that was in your family. So like if you were taught you had to be this size to be attractive, you're saying, is that even what I really want for myself, or have I been told this? You know, so I feel like the beauty standard that you're coming into is a standard that you've set for yourself and not a standard that was taught to you by your family or by the dominant mainstream culture. Okay. Let's see what else we can find out, pile one. A little bit of a deeper reading, but that's how it goes. Pile one. What do we need to know about how your physical appearance is changing, how other people are going to be seeing you, how you will see yourself? Pile one, your physical appearance, how is it changing? What do we need to know? Even with them dancing here, like if you've always been afraid to dance, put yourself out there. You know, I feel like you are starting to really step out of your comfort zone. Oh yeah, you're becoming comfortable with being the star. So with the ivy here, this card has a unique meaning to me because this fairy in particular, she's the one who is showcased on the actual box. Let me see if I have it close by. Oh, my foot's asleep. Sorry guys. But you see, she's the star, right? Like she's the fairy who is featured on the cover of the box. Out of all the fairies, right, in the whole deck, she is the star. And you can even see she's slightly different here. From the green to the purple hair, she's a little bit different. And so, even her wings, right, they're more multicolored here. So I feel like there's this energy of you coming into your own. You know, before you kind of faded into the background, you know, she's kind of matching the background here, you know, it's all green. And here, she's like in Technicolor, you know? So I feel like there's this energy of like, you're still yourself. You're still very recognizable as yourself, but you're coming into a more vibrant version of yourself. So from kind of like this monotone to, again, this Technicolor. So that could be literally you adding more color into your wardrobe, into your makeup, into your hair. But it could also just be, again, like your energy, like you're just showing up as such a more authentic version of yourself. And that creates a sense of comfort that allows you, because you're more comfortable with yourself, you can get out of some of those self-imposed rules that you have, like I don't ever dance, I don't ever go to parties, I don't ever put myself in this certain social situation, I don't ask people out for dates, I don't do that. You know, I don't wear crop tops. You know, like it is sort of like self-imposed rules that you had for yourself. I can't wear that, I can't do that, I can't say that. You're shedding that. And again, like we're talking about how you're physically changing, but for you, and of course it would be my pile ones who would have this message, it's all encompassing, you know. This is just as much mental work as it is a physical manifestation of that work. Let's get, do I want to get another card? Not really, not for you guys. I think just one fairy message, honestly, because it doesn't get better than that. Okay. Move this over here. Pile 1, how are you physically changing? What are people knowing about you or seeing changes within you? How are other people responding to you? How are you glowing up? How is your physical appearance changing? Pile 1. What do we need to know? Pile 1. Also with student here, this message just came through. I'm sorry, sometimes they come in bits and pieces. And remember how I said these messages would be a little bit slower, or this energy would manifest a little bit slower, so I guess that makes sense. You also may be studying something in relation to your physical appearance. And what I mean by that is, like, if you've never worn makeup, or maybe you've always done really natural makeup, and all of a sudden you have an interest in eyeshadow, or you want to learn how to do a cat eye, or you want to learn how to do your brows differently, you know, something like that. You know, you've never done your nails before, but now you're learning how to do your nails, or yeah, something that you're studying, you know. And that could even be like, you know, I want to start embodying this aesthetic, so I'm going to watch all of these videos and get inspired and look at photos and make a Pinterest board of this aesthetic, and I'm going to learn how to dress in this manner because I really, really resonate with it. Something like that. You're learning something that's going to change your physical style, and that could also be like, I want to get fit. I want to get healthy, so I'm going to study these certain exercises, or I've never done yoga before, so I'm going to be a student of yoga. I'm going to learn how to cook good, healthy meals for myself, or I'm going to learn how to meal prep. Something like that, something that you're studying that's going to show up in your physical appearance. Okay, so we have success and we have abundance. So I will say with the success card, because remember I said my pile 1s, you're very hardworking. There's something that you've been working at, something that you've been working on, and you're going to have a successful outcome. So let's say, because I know my pile 1s are goal oriented, your pile 1, if you set a goal for yourself, like I want to lose X amount of pounds, or I want to gain X amount of pounds, or I want to I want to have more muscle. You know, I want to strengthen my muscles. That's the word I was looking for, strengthen. You set that goal for yourself, you are going to achieve that goal. So if you're watching this video now with a goal in mind in relation to your physical body, you are going to meet that goal. You are going to find success in that goal. And even if it's, like I said, you're studying something, like I want to learn how to do my eyeshadow in this way, you're going to learn how to do that. You're going to find success in that goal that you've set for yourself. Now with this abundance card, I kind of wonder also if for some of you, you're having more success in your career, and that's giving you more disposable income to put towards, you know, buying these accessories, or buying new makeup, or joining a gym or something like that, or taking a fitness course, or getting a personal trainer, or getting on some sort of meal prepping plan service. I know they have those subscription boxes where they send you all the ingredients and a recipe, and then you make it. And they have like healthy options and options for like various diets that people are on. And when I say diet, I mean like you want to go vegan, or you want to go on keto, or whatever the case may be. There's so many diets. Something like that. So could be too that you're just having more money to put into these things that you're wanting to do, that are going to show up, you know, in your physical appearance. Even like I said, some of you may be wanting a tattoo. That takes money, so there could be something in your finances that is giving you more freedom to sort of do these things that you've been wanting to do. All right, so let me see here. I pre-pulled. You were number 1, I remember. Here we go. I pre-pulled a goddess card. Now again, remember, we're always talking about energy. We're not talking about gender. Okay, but your goddess card was the Queen of Hearts, so this will end your reading. So the Queen of Hearts, I feel almost like, I feel like it's almost like your heart chakra is going through this glow up, because I think for a lot of you who are single, who have been feeling kind of on your own, because honestly there's a little bit of an independent energy coming through. Now if you're not single, don't worry, this just isn't your message. But for those of you who are single, or even if you're in a relationship and you've been going through a rough patch, a hard time, I feel like there's this glow up in your heart chakra, and I feel like you're healing some wounds and you're shedding some things that were hurting you and you're letting it go. Remember, we had a message here of release in the very beginning. So I feel like it's almost like you're getting more in sync with your own heart and you're meeting your own needs, and there's not this expectation that other people have to heal or save you, or that it's your responsibility to heal and save other people. And so I feel like this energy of coming home to yourself, and when you come home to yourself, that's going to attract other people who are at that frequency. And so if you've been wanting to attract a soulmate or someone that you could see yourself getting married to, or that you could see as a life partner, that is coming through, absolutely. But I also feel like with this Queen of Hearts, like you have mastered your own heart, and so I feel like that love that you have for yourself shines outward, and you're able to be loving and nurturing to other people, but not at the detriment to yourself. And so I feel like there's just this warm glow that's emanating from your heart space that draws other people in. And so it really is like a sense of inner beauty that people are drawn to here, but that inner beauty like spills out into how you physically appear to other people. So I think you're just overall, it's hard for people to put their finger on it, but there's just something about you that really makes people feel, I feel like, safe and comforted and at ease with you. People feel very at ease with you, and it's because you're at ease with yourself. Like self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs, things about yourself that you found hard to love before, you come to a place of acceptance with. And so, it's sort of like people, it's like you went from the student to the teacher, and now other people are learning from you in that manner. But there's this humility to you, that you understand that as far as you've come, this is a lifelong process and something you'll continually work at. And so, I feel like you really are stepping into that energy of acceptance and love, but also equally learning and teaching others. It's a beautiful balance that you're coming into, Pile 1. So this was your reading. I hope that it resonated. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads with the video. It does help me out a lot. I would just like to say a huge, genuine, warm thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel, and a special thank you to the person who suggested this reading topic. And I will see you guys in my next one. Take care, Pile 1. Alright, on my Pile 2s, if you chose the Juicy Couture Malibu perfume, this is your reading. You have a very, very fun bottle here, and because we are doing a video about your physical appearance and your style changing and what you're gonna look like in the future, I do feel like there's a sense of vibrancy and fun here. I think that you're getting a bit more fun and a bit more creative and a bit more, almost like a bit more free in how you present yourself. Like, I don't feel like you're taking it so seriously as maybe you have in the past. You know, I feel like you're wearing brighter colors, you're wearing bolder prints, you're maybe showing a little bit more skin. I mean, this is the Malibu perfume, you know, and if you think of the energy sort of like summer and going to the beach and that sort of lighthearted energy and just having fun and being in the moment and being present, I feel like that's all showing up in your outer appearance. And I think there's just so much love for life that is emanating from you. Kind of like in the depths of winter, you're like an eternal summer. You know that quote? That's kind of like your energy. It's like this eternal summer. I feel like you just really light people up, and it's because of that own inner light. You guys may be my Leos, honestly, or my fire signs, my Aries, my Sagittarius. You don't have to be, but there is a little bit of fire sign energy coming through this. And I feel like it's because you're more willing to explore. You're a little bit more adventurous, and you know, you're showing a little bit more skin. You know, like, I feel like you're just coming into, like, you know, like, let's just have fun. You know, there's no concern about looking perfect. You know how when you're at the beach and, you know, like, you've been in the sand, you're sticky from sunscreen, you know, your hair may not be perfectly in place because you've been in the water, but you look good. Like, I don't know, there's something about going to the beach where you look a little bit messy, right? Like, you've been having fun all day, laying out in the sun and stuff, but you always look good, like, coming home from the beach. Like, you know, your hair's got great volume from the salt water, you know, stuff like that. I think that you look like someone who is having fun, and I know that may seem like an odd message, but people are drawn to that. People find that very attractive. So you look like someone who is, you know, open to having a good time, and that may sound a bit odd. Someone who looks like they're ready for an adventure, you know, someone who looks like they love life, and I think that's a really beautiful energy to have. I also think that you may come across as someone who is well-traveled, even if you haven't been anywhere. There's just something about you seeming like you are, like you've been places, and I think it's because you seem really unique. You know, you're not blending in with the crowd, so people may think like, oh, has this person been to other places? You know, you just seem really cultured, even if you're not. Some of you may speak a second language. I don't know why that came up, but if that resonates, it resonates. Or maybe you are just meant to travel in this lifetime. Maybe your North Node is in Sagittarius or something like that. Okay, I've done enough talking. Let's get into your tarot pile 2. And I gave this disclaimer in pile 1, and I'll say it in this one too. We're not promoting some sort of beauty standard or body ideal on this channel. This was just a requested video about your future physical appearance, but we're not making any sort of claims about an ideal body type or you know, way of being or beauty standard. We're not doing that. Okay, pile 2. How is your physical appearance changing? How is your style changing? How will you look in the future? Pile 2. What do we need to know, please, Spirit? And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. I'll also say a thank you to the subscriber who suggested this topic. Okay, these cards are flying out, and when the deck does that, typically I kind of take that as like there's a little bit more of a fast moving energy here. So like I said in the intro, I'm not putting a time limit on this, but I will say this glow up may be happening faster or sooner than you expected, or this physical change in your appearance, however you want to label it, may be happening sooner than you had expected. We've got the Five of Wands to start us off here. I'll start talking once we get all your tarot. They're showing me, I don't know why, they're showing me fruit. They're showing me fruit. Kind of like, there's this quote, I think it's by Dita Von Teese. I hope I said her name right. And she has this quote where she says, "You can be the juiciest peach in the room, but not everybody loves peaches." And so there's something about you coming into this understanding that you could be the best of the best with this Five of Wands. You could be the best of the best, and yet that's still not going to be enough for everybody. And so why bother then? Like, why try to live up to someone else's expectations or the expectations of the dominant culture of mainstream media and how they tell you you should be or how you should look, or you can't keep up with it. And so why bother? Why not instead focus on authenticity and how you want to look and how you want to show up? And so with this Five of Wands here, there's this understanding that there will always be competition, but you can choose to set it out. You can choose to say, I'm not going to participate in this rat race. I'm not going to participate in trying to keep up with the trends, whether that's trends in clothing, whether that's trends in body types, because I know that sounds weird, but it's very true. Like, there's all these different labels. I can't even keep up with it myself, but you're opting out. And that is where this love for life, this sense of freedom, this sense of just doing you comes through, and it shows up in your physical appearance. So whatever feels authentically comfortable to you, whatever makes you feel good and confident about yourself, you're leaning into it, even if other people tell you you shouldn't wear that, you shouldn't do your makeup like that, you shouldn't you should change this about your body, that's not that's not how you should look, or you shouldn't cut your hair that way, you shouldn't, any sort of like arbitrary rules people try to project upon you, like, are you wearing that? Yes, I am. Like, that's your energy. And I knew there was fire sign energy. We have the Queen of Wands here. So yeah, you may have some dominant fire placements in your chart. Again, that's Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. You could have a lot of planets, in the 5th, 1st or 9th house. That could also be a thing in your birth chart. But I feel like regardless, you're stepping into that fire sign energy with the Queen of Wands here. This is someone who really is like a social butterfly. This is someone who can adapt to different social situations with ease, and that comes from that confidence, Like, sunflowers are really resilient flowers. There's this inner strength to you. You have like a yellow aura. There's this optimism, this relentless sense of hope that comes from you that really is inspiring. Like the Queen of Wands, if I had to say anything about her, I would say she is an inspiring person. Her creativity inspires other people. And so there's something about the way that you're living your life and your shift in perspective here that is really inspiring to other people. But I also feel like in terms of your style, again, we're just talking about energy here, we're not talking about gender. But there's something there about your style that's really creative and really unique. One time, guys, this was when I was in high school, and I had went and I had gotten my hair cut, and there was something like, I think I got like an asymmetrical bob, but it was like half pixie cut. It was pretty different. And so when I was getting my hair cut and I was requesting what I wanted, and I came with like different pictures because I had never seen a haircut like that before, but I was like showing like I want this aspect of this haircut and I want this aspect of this haircut and I want like side swept bangs, but I want it to look like this. And then I was describing the hair color that I wanted, and it was kind of this blend of different colors. And so I got like a layer of like 5 different highlights. I was able to do this because I had won a raffle for like a $500 gift card to this hair salon, so I was being very extra. I was like, I'm gonna get my money's worth. And so anyway, and so the hairstylist was like listening and listening and looking at everything, and he was also this really cool artist. It was like the coolest salon that I've ever been to. But he told me, he was like, when we do this, you're gonna look great, but I'm gonna tell you, when people talk to you or when people notice you, they're gonna be like, she's kind of different. And then he flipped imaginary hair over his shoulder because he had short hair, but he did an imaginary hair flip, and he was like, you have to be like, I know. You know, you have to have that confidence. Like, people are gonna look at you and be like, she's kind of unusual, she's kind of different, your hair's kind of different. And you have to do the hair flip, imaginary or an actual hair flip, and you have to say, I know. And so there's this sort of ownership of your style, of your creativity, that is manifesting outward. There's this ownership of this new style that you're coming forth with. You know it's different, you know it's unique, but it feels authentic to you, so you don't really care what other people have to say about it. And there's going to be mixed opinions about it, because that's kind of the whole point of it. Kind of like Cyndi Lauper's like Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That's the, you know, like, she's so unusual, you know, like, that's the energy that you're presenting with, and you love it, you know, like, you're not here to be like the girl next door kind of archetype. There's this feeling of like, yeah, I am different, I am going on my own, I am really showing up as like who I want to be. I'm shining my inner light outwards. Like, what I present with, what I show up with is my inner light. Always. You know, the Hermit and the Queen of Wands together, this is major energy here. This is really like strength. Like, I know who I am, and I know how I want to look and how I want to portray myself, and I'm owning that. I'm showing up in that way. So yeah, there is going to be something very unique, very creative about the way that you're dressing, the way that you're even presenting yourself. I think that you guys may have something unique about your sense of humor, or the way that you laugh, or the way that you talk, the way that you say things is quite different. And I think it's very different than, you know, the average majority that you're surrounded with. And I think that's where it kind of comes through. Like, you seem like you're really cultured, and you could be, even if you've never traveled to another country, there could be something about the style, or even like the culture in terms of like food, music, movies, books, music, if I didn't say music, it's really inspiring to you, and you pull inspiration from those influences, and it shows up in your style. And that's why it looks like you've traveled to different places, even if you necessarily haven't. So for example, like, let's say you're really into some aspect of anime culture, and that shows up in your style, and that makes you seem really unique and really different than where you're living at, because you're not from that country where that anime is really popular, or where it originated from. So something like that, that's showing up in your style. Now with the Star card here, this is a wish come true, okay? This is a hope after the storm, after the tower has fallen. So some of you may have experienced something in your life that made you want to take stock and made you want to make this change, because I think there's something that kind of shook your foundation, something that shook your confidence. So that could be like, maybe you go through, they're showing me Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, where she has that heartbreak moment. She shows up with, I think, muffins to like the study group, and everyone shuns her and they kind of bully her. Well, they do bully her, and they tell her she can't join the group, and she's just trying to be nice and trying to fit in and trying to, you know, meet the Harvard law you know, old money kind of standard, and she's not good enough. You know, not that she'll never be good enough if she continues to play by those rules. And so she's like, screw it. You know? And so then there's like this montage. You know, first she cries and she's upset, and you know, that's the tower moment. And then there's this montage of her going and she buys a computer. I think this is where she gets embarrassed at like the Halloween or like non-costume costume party. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. But she goes through this montage where she's like running on the treadmill and she's studying and she's like watching TV with her dog, and then she changes it to like the news, and she's like doing a million things at one time. And you know, it's like this empowerment scene. And so there could be something like that that happens, like a breakup happens, or you feel like you're not going to fit in at your school, or you're not going to fit in with the people at your job. Like if you continue to try to play by someone else's rules, you're always going to fail. And so you're throwing out that old rule book and you're setting a new standard of expectations for yourself, and you're being authentic to you. And so yeah, some of you, that may motivate you to literally like start running on the treadmill and start studying and doing stuff like that. Or it's going to motivate you to come, like, I had that message in pile 1 of like coming home to yourself, and in this way it's a little bit different, because I don't feel like you're coming back to yourself. It's almost like you're discovering yourself. And so I think for the first time in your life, you may really be like, this is who I am, because you've gone on maybe a journey of self-reflection here, of isolation, of introspection, and yeah, after that tower moment, and now there's hope. And so it's like a wish come true to finally discover who you are and who you want to be, and to show up as that version of yourself. Yeah, it feels like there should be, like, it feels like a movie, and you're the heroine, you're the lead actor in the movie, and you're the star, you're on the hero's journey here. And you know, there's that motivational, inspiring music that's playing, and you feel on top of the world, and there's this like giddy feeling. You know, it feels very liberating, this pile. So I feel like there's just a lot of freedom here to express who you truly are. And I'm not getting as many specific messages as I did in pile 1 for you all in terms of your physical appearance. And I think the reason for that being is that you're a pretty diverse group. And so my pile 2s, there's something there about uniqueness, right? And so however the dream version of yourself, like if you've ever had sort of like this daydream of like who you would be and how you would act, because a lot of the focus here is how you're showing up in social settings, way more than pile 1. However that is, like your movements, the way you speak, the sort of jokes you would be like brave enough to tell, or your sense of humor, how you come across, and then your actual physical style. There's a lot here about style, less about your physical body and more about style in this reading in particular. But even if you do have like a dream body, how you would want to look, there's something about you becoming that. And so obviously this is a general reading that's going to vary, okay? But whatever that dream vision you have for yourself, if you could imagine this really cool party, how would you show up to that party? What would you look like? If you have a clear vision, and I suspect you do, pile 2, that's your future. That's how you're going to look, how you're going to show up. And it comes from this feeling of liberation. You know, like it was there for the taking all along. You just had to let go of what society or your family or your friends or whoever these people are who told you you had to look or be a certain way. You're finally being brave enough to step into who you've always been. Kind of like the page to the queen, you know? It's always been there. It was just a bit hidden, like under this hoodie. It was a bit hidden. All right, let's get some more information, pile 2, about your physical appearance. How are you changing? How are you showing up? Your style, all that good stuff. What do we need to know, please, Spirit, for pile 2? And I will say too, like I was telling pile 1, it didn't seem like their confidence was going to be like that loud. you are loud. Like, when you walk into a room, it's like all eyes on you, center stage, center of the show, the lead act. Now, this is kind of wild that you got the Lover, because I noticed on your bottom of the deck, you had the Lovers. So this is clearly factoring in, so we'll pull that card out as well. You've got the message twice now, basically. There we go. Okay, so we have the Goddess and we have the Lover, and then your bottom of the deck was the Lovers. So let's actually start with this Goddess card. It says, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. So remember, we're just talking about energy, we're not talking about gender. But this Goddess archetype that's coming through, there's definitely this energy of you stepping into that divine femininity. And so maybe when you were younger, again, regardless of your gender, for whatever reason, you may have been uncomfortable with expressing that divine feminine side. You know, you may have been uncomfortable in expressing your femininity. So whether that was in your personality or in your appearance, you may have felt blocked from that. You know, maybe you were told that that was wrong, you shouldn't be that way, you're not pretty enough to, you know, even try, you know, like, or physical appearance isn't something you should waste time or effort on. You know, there may have been like some rules that were placed upon you, because we're getting this recurring message about rules. And so I feel like you're breaking out of what you were taught, you know, because I think what you were taught in many ways was a bit backwards. So I feel like you are breaking out of the mold that people tried to force you into. And so you're understanding this sort of idea of creation, because divine feminine energy is highly creative. And if we think of like the Empress card in the Major Arcana, she's always pregnant, right? So it's this idea of creation, this idea of birth. And so I feel like this is sort of you birthing the authentic version of yourself, and understanding that in this life we have the endless capacity to create. And so why shouldn't you create yourself? I really like Lana Del Rey. And so I remember there was all of this scandal when Born to Die came out, and when video games became viral. That's a song that she has. There was this sort of, at the time, like hipster culture was pretty popular. And so someone would write like this mean blog post, and there's been all kinds of articles since then about how she's inauthentic and questioning her story and questioning her experiences, and, you know, saying she's just a creation of the music industry, of her record label, like this isn't who she really is. And, you know, a lot of that, I think, had to do with her being a woman. Bob Dylan created this whole backstory for himself that wasn't, let's just say, quite authentic, and there wasn't the same sort of backlash as there was with Lana Del Rey. But to me, that's what artists do. You know, and Lana has said, like, people will try to take your experiences from you and try to tell you that that wasn't your experience. And I'm not saying that she lied or misconstrued things about her past. I'm not saying that at all. But I think that there's this weird standard, like, well, why should she just be Lizzie Grant or whatever her name was before? Like, why should she just be that? Like, she's an artist, right? Like, why shouldn't she be able to reinvent herself? Why can't she change? Why can't she evolve? You know, pop artists do that all the time. Like, every single album's like a new era, right? And there's this push for reinvention. So then when someone does that and they get famous and they profit from it, why is that viewed as a negative thing when other artists are expected to do that? Like, it's this weird, like, you can never win. You can never win. It's like some people are expected to do that, but then, like, if you're more of an indie artist, you get you know, pulled across the hot coals for it, you get burned for it. Like, it's wild. And so you're kind of understanding, like, if you try to play by those rules, you'll never win, you'll never be good enough. And when you start to meet some sort of standard, they change the standard, you know. In the 60s, you know, Twiggy was the thing and being super thin. And then now we have like the slim thick and like Kim Kardashian and all that. Like the rules are always changing. What you're meant to do is always changing, and you don't really seem to be able to ever win. And so, like, why try to win by those rules? Why try to do that? There's two like cute adorable puppies across the street, and they're matching. Like, they look exactly alike, at least from where I'm sitting, across the street. And I just think that's kind of funny because you guys got the lovers card. And dogs are like very social, very loving, and very playful and fun. I don't know who their owner is. I'm kind of like mildly concerned. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on that as I'm doing your reading and make sure they're okay. I'm not seeing collars on them though, so I'm not sure who they belong to. The neighbor sometimes lets their dog out though, so I don't know if they got 2 new dogs. All right, we're gonna keep an eye on that. But anyway, the kind of that symbolism though with like dogs and having fun and just, you know, like dogs aren't really concerned about how other people are perceiving them. They're just friendly and loving life and having a good time. So I feel like that's your energy. I feel like there's a lot of wisdom that you're gaining from this period of self-isolation and self-reflection. I feel like you're gaining a lot of wisdom from that, and you're starting to understand your own life force and the power that you have and how you can reinvent yourself so many times and still be authentically you. You know, like authenticity and reinvention are not at odds with one another. You know, we change all the time. We grow, we adapt, we learn. And so it's okay that, you know, for a couple years you're really into, maybe you're really into a certain style aesthetic. Like you're into really girly things. Let's just say, for example, you're into really girly, hyper feminine style. And then you do that for a while, you get bored of it, and you're like, you know, I'm gonna reinvent my style. Like I wanna, you know, you start listening to different music, and so maybe you start listening to, I don't know, a lot of bands, and you get into maybe an older style of music, and then all of a sudden you have like this sort of like 70s aesthetic, or you know, maybe you have like this kind of rocker chick aesthetic, again, just as an example. And so your style changes, and so people may say like you're being inauthentic or try to put you in a box or label you a certain way, but you understand this endless capacity you have to create. And so, you know, you're pulling different versions of yourself, different aspects of yourself to the surface. And the funny thing is, people may say you're inauthentic or you're changing or you're flaky, but you know, actually, you're tapping into that inner creativity, and you refuse to be labeled or put into a box or a stereotype. And so, if anything, you are more authentic as a result of that. But yeah, there's a lot here about reinvention. And you know, creative energy is, what I'm trying to say, like sensuality, sexuality is creative energy. I said it backwards. And so I feel like you're also expressing yourself in that way too. I feel like you're having, how do I put it? I feel like there's something flirtatious about your energy that wasn't there before. I think you're just having more fun with it. You're seeing it as more of a way for you to express yourself, and you're not, maybe you're not being shackled by judgment, you know, people saying like you shouldn't be that way, you shouldn't be so flirtatious, you shouldn't lead people on or whatever. And you know, or people may have, you know, in your childhood put a lot of restraints, or you shouldn't dress that way, you shouldn't wear that, you know, and told you that it was wrong to express your sexuality. And I feel like with all the red here, all the heat, all the fire, all the passion, I feel like you're becoming a lot more comfortable with that side of yourself, and you're becoming a lot more comfortable with expressing your sexuality, especially because we have the lovers here, and we have lover, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of something or someone. There could be a partner who's coming into your life who's helping you step into this Queen of Wands energy, like they're helping you understand how attractive you are, and sort of seeing yourself from their perspective, I think is very freeing. You know, you're seeing the beautiful in you that maybe you missed before, maybe you didn't recognize before. That's a Britney Spears song. What song is that? Noticing the beautiful on me? I think that's the lyric. I don't know. I can't remember the song now. If you guys know, put it down in the comments. I haven't probably heard that song since like middle school. Yeah, that lyric just, I can hear Britney singing it, but I can't hear the rest of the song. Yeah, I feel like there's such an appreciation, I feel like, for your own beauty, and I think that then makes you see the beauty in the world more, you know, like it starts from within and then it gets reflected outwards, similar to pile 1 in that aspect. But yeah, I feel like there's such an appreciation for yourself and I feel like you're starting to see love and your relationships with other people as an extension of your relationship with yourself. So I feel like you're starting to understand that the more you love yourself, the more deeply you can show up in your connections with other people. I also feel like there's something about you, like wifey material, you know, husband material, you know, like you're seeming more like you are partner material. I think people are romantically more attracted to you, and it's definitely because of this confidence, you know, that authenticity that keeps showing up again and again and again, that is really drawing people into you. This could also be, again, a time when you end up meeting someone and you have that kind of soulmate connection. So we also have Gemini energy coming through with the Lovers as well. Because again, I think it's also how you communicate, you know, you're kind of like showing up as like the life of the party, like people want to include you in things, you know. Honestly, you're coming across as very funny during this time. People are very entertained by you, is also a message that's coming through. All right, let's get into some more oracles. I feel like this reading is a lot longer than I had planned. So many messages are coming through. More than I expected. Pile 2. Could be wearing a lot more red. I would say that for certain. We've got Magnolia here. Actually, I think this is the springtime one. Let me just look at the book here, because it's been a while since I've used this deck, or it feels like it's been a while. That's number 21. Let me just glance back. I think this card talks about spring and renewal, which goes really well with our focus here on reinvention. And then all of the pink, again, is making me think of divine femininity. And even just like how she kind of looks like she has chopsticks in her like little space buns. I can't really tell. I mean, I guess it's meant to be, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But remember how I said there could be something about you incorporating other cultures into your style. Again, not like cultural appropriation, but not like, I don't mean like literally like you're gonna walk around with chopsticks in your hair, but more so like you could listen to music or see a movie from another country, and then that could inspire an aspect of your style, even in terms of like the colors that you wear. Not like a literal translation like cultural appropriation is. Okay. Let me see here. Let me read this. Oh my gosh, it says right here, the reality is yours to create. How are you designing your reality? Is your life unfolding the way you wish it to? Is what others see a clear representation of who you really are? Do you live from your authentic self? Authentic self, like that's what we've been talking about over and over, authenticity. I feel like you're understanding that like what you focus on is what grows. You know, with the star, where you direct your intentions, where you direct your wishes, Are you wishing for things that can't be changed like the past? Or are you looking forward? Are you looking at who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And so authenticity, yeah, you're showing up as a more authentic version of yourself. You're understanding, like spring, you can continually reinvent yourself every year. Like there's always more opportunity there for growth. So yes, I love that. You know, it's not, I'm not going to exist as some projected version of like what other people think I should be. And even becoming your own lover in a way, like as weird as that sounds, but like if maybe you had past partners who were judgmental or promoted some sort of beauty standard on you, you know, they told you you needed to, I don't know, like you need to lose weight, or you shouldn't cut your hair like that, you shouldn't dye your hair that color, you shouldn't dress like that, stop dressing like that, especially if you had a controlling ex who was like, you're showing too much skin, you know, you can't wear that, what are you doing, you can't wear that. Or even if that came from, you know, maybe you had really, really strict parents, or you had some sort of strict like religious upbringing and you couldn't do or say certain things, or you couldn't dress a certain way. You know, I feel like you're breaking out of that and just, you know, doing whatever feels right to you, whatever feels authentic to you. You're throwing out that rule book and you're like, you know, I don't care if they said, you know, or even like, especially I feel like especially for young girls, there's kind of this thinking of, honestly, I just lost my train of thought. What was I gonna say? I might have to cut this out while I try to remember. You guys may see like a jump cut here. Okay, I remember what I was gonna say now. We put all of these rules sort of like on how you should dress, especially for young women in sort of Western culture. We say like you shouldn't dress this way or people will think that you're easy, you shouldn't dress this way or you're gonna invite like unwanted attention, or even to an extreme, trigger warning here if you need to cut off the video, trigger warning, or you can skip ahead a few minutes. We even say, like, in terms of like rape culture, well, you are asking for it, you deserve it, you know, we blame the victim because they were dressed a certain way. And not just that women can be victims of that, but just as an example, I feel like in particular that is projected a lot onto especially young women. But yes, so I feel like you are like, no, like just because I dress a certain way doesn't mean anything about my sexuality or how many partners I have, or, you know, like these are unrelated things. It has nothing to do with anything. And so I feel like there's, again, just a lot more freedom in how you dress and how you act. And like, it's okay for you to flirt, you know, it's okay for you to do that. It doesn't, you know, there's nothing morally wrong with that, you know? So I feel like a lot of you had a lot of restrictions placed upon how you express your sexuality. And I feel like you're overcoming a lot of that. With thinking of you, you know, sometimes when we glow up, we have people from our past try to come back and try to talk to us. And that may be something, unfortunately, you have to deal with. There may be some people from your past who maybe treated you a little bit poorly and now see how you look and they want to come back into the picture. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You choose whether or not you want to give that any attention, but I think there may be some past people who try to come back into the fold, who maybe regret how they treated you and, you know, see you living well, doing well, looking good, and they want to come back into the picture. Pile 2, it will be up to you how you want to respond to that, but just a forewarning that you can expect that. So pile 2, how is your physical appearance changing? How are you being viewed now? How are you being viewed? Pile 2, how are you showing up? Your physical appearance, your style, how are you changing? Oh, wow. Yeah. With letting go and healing, kind of seems like you're going to be leaving these people in the past. Yeah. You're letting go a lot of those old, again, those old perspectives, beliefs, rules that weren't yours. You're letting them go and you're stepping into what authentically feels good to you. And with healing here, it kind of feels like wounds that you had around your self-worth. Yep, you're feeling so at peace. You're feeling so at peace. I feel like a lot of wounds that you had honestly come from childhood, and I feel like you're healing them in a way that integrates like your shadow. And so I think even the parts of yourself before that were so hard for you to love, or that you were told by past partners, like these aspects of you are like difficult to love. You know, you're like, I'm not hard to love. I'm not hard to love at all. And I'll prove it by loving myself. I'm getting so many cards for you because I just feel called to. Yeah, you're being brave. You're being brave, you know. You're healing those parts of yourself. Romance, bottom of the deck. You're healing those parts of yourself, and it's gonna welcome in more love and romance into your life because that confidence, that self-respect shines outward. And I feel like you're just brave enough to be who you really are, and not many people are. And so again, like that sexuality, that sensuality, you're able to express it. And I think that before you were honestly probably really repressed in that area. And so by you feeling confident enough to express your sensuality, yeah, it's bringing more romance into your life. With grace here, a couple different ways here. Yes, you're moving with grace, like literal grace. You know, I feel like you gracefully navigate social situations. You have more confidence now than you ever had before. I think it's going to be quite shocking to you how much confidence you have. But I also feel like with grace, you know when to let go, you know when to heal, you know when to move on. You have a sense of inner peace that I don't think that anyone can ever take from you. I just feel like you've come so deeply into this sense of self-discovery. And so, yeah, you handle life with grace now because you know at the end of the day, like your future self can handle future problems. Like you just move with grace. You know, if people want to leave your life, let them go. You know, there's no sense of desperation here. Yeah, there's a real sense of like, I know who I am and I'm fine with it, you know? With Finch Spirit Guide, I pre-pulled this goddess card for you all, pile 2. And I mean, pile 1 got this message as well, but I feel like yours is maybe even stronger than pile 1 because we have the Lovers and the Finch Spirit Guide. The Finch Spirit Guide, you can see it says, I love us, 2 lovebirds here. This is really, really welcoming in, I think, your life partner, or at least a soulmate connection that's going to have a lasting impact upon you. It feels like a life-altering, life-changing romantic connection that is in store for you. That I think is going to, I think you start this process and of self-discovery, and I feel like right when you're in like that final stage, I feel like this person comes in and gives you that final push into who you are. And I think it's because they hold up that mirror to you, and the parts within them that you recognize within yourself, the fact that you love this person so much brings you into a deeper sense of love and connection for yourself, because it's the good and the bad, right? It's the lighter side and the shadow side, you know, because you love this person so completely and they mirror you in some ways. You know, it's that self-love that allows you to love them, but it's also the love that you have for them that allows you to love yourself more deeply. So it works in both ways, and it's kind of like this beautiful paradox that I think unfolds as like this rose does. I think it just adds so much beauty to your life. And I don't feel like this sort of love, this level of connection is something that you've ever had with anyone before. So if you're watching this video and you're not single and you are with someone, this could be talking about a deepening of that connection. So just take whatever resonates. For others of you, this could be like a soul friendship, but I think for most of you, given that we have the Finch Spirit Guide and the romance card, yeah, I would feel, and sensuality's been coming up, sexuality's been coming up consistently throughout your reading. Yeah, and I feel like, and this may be a little bit, I think for most of you it's romantic is what I meant to say. Remember in the very beginning we were talking about the beach. And I mean, most of us, when we go to the beach, we wear a swimsuit, right? Like, the beach is a setting where you wear less clothing than you typically do in other aspects of your life, other settings. I think that you all are getting more comfortable with just your naked body. You're getting so much more comfortable in your own skin, and I think that if you were, if you're watching this video and you're like, wow, I have a lot of body consciousness right now, I have a lot of issues around that, that's going to be a huge leveling up, just feeling so much more comfortable with your physical body, being a friend to your body, not feeling at war with your body. There was this quote that I read that said like, and finally my body breathed a sign of relief and said, we're friends now. Imagine like all of the hateful thoughts we have about our bodies and the ways that we judge our bodies and criticize our bodies and the way that our bodies are judged and criticized by, the dominant culture, mainstream media, and all that. The way we're always tearing and picking our body apart and wishing we could change certain things. And to finally view your body as a friend and as something that keeps you alive and is a beautiful vessel for your soul and your mind and your heart and your spirit, how at peace would you feel? How much more free would you feel? There's a sense of freedom here, a sense of acceptance, a sense of love for yourself and the love for life, and yeah, a sense of gratitude to your body for keeping you alive and keeping you healthy and well and here, that I think is really beautiful. All right, pile 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Hit the notification bell so you always know when I upload. I look forward to seeing you guys in my next one. Please take care, and a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. So much gratitude, so much gratitude. I can't say it enough. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, pile 2. All right, pile 3, if you chose the Juice Box perfume, this is your reading. I will say, just with the actual fragrance that you selected, I kind of get this energy, I don't know, this message that if you're someone who typically feels like they have to be a little bit more controlled, or you're really concerned with always showing up as your best, like for example, you don't like to leave the house unless your hair is done or your makeup is done or you're dressed a certain way. I feel like in the future there's going to be a little bit more of a relaxed energy towards that. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, I can't leave the house today because I haven't, styled my hair or something like that. I feel like you're just not going to care as much in a positive way. Like, you're just gonna feel comfortable with yourself, and you're gonna feel like you're gonna feel attractive, you're gonna feel pretty or handsome, whatever the case may be. Even when you're not all put together. Like, you're not going to be so concerned with always looking perfect, there's going to be a little bit more of an easiness to you, and that may show up in other areas of your life too, where you don't feel this need to be so controlled all the time, you're not going to feel so concerned with how other people are perceiving you. All right, pile 3, let's find out how your physical appearance is changing What will you look like in the future? How is your style changing? What do we need to know, please, Spirit? Pile 3. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. And I'll go ahead and say a disclaimer as well. We're not promoting a certain beauty standard or body type ideal on this channel, so that's not the intention or the purpose of this video. All right, let's get into it. And a thank you also to the subscriber who suggested this topic. Okay, 3 of Cups. We've got the High Priestess. King of Pentacles. Two of Wands. I'm going to include your bottom of the deck because in every single pile so far, the bottom of the deck energy has been pretty significant. So you have the 9 of Cups. So this is your bottom of the deck. We'll kind of put it a little bit more, we'll turn it. That way we'll remember. Okay. All right, so you have the 3 of Cups, the High Priestess, the King of Pentacles, the 2 of Wands, and the 9 of Cups. All right, I will say with this 3 of Cups card, it came out in reverse, and typically like I just read the cards in the overall context. I don't focus too much on like which way it's turned. But the 3 of Cups, I did notice that it came out in reverse, and so I made like a mental note of that. But it kind of goes back to that feeling of I don't really care what the crowd is doing. Kind of this energy of like I'm not so focused on how other people are perceiving me or like what other people are thinking of. And I think that's a departure for a lot of my pile 3s. You know, you're not sort of I think if you've struggled with being self-conscious, I feel like that's falling away. With the High Priestess here, you see how she's holding a book, but she's not looking at it. She's looking forward. It's sort of like, I don't need to focus on the words of others. You know, I can look forward because I'm listening to my inner voice. I'm listening to my intuition. And so this kind of this feeling of like not really caring anymore what other people are saying about you, thinking about you, not caring what the gossip is, the word on the street, like they say in Real Housewives of Potomac. You don't care anymore about that. It's just sort of like, kind of like you're on this new adventure, you're on this new start, and there's something that you've been wishing for, something that you've been wanting to do. And I feel like this change in your physical appearance and your style is coinciding with this new start, this new adventure this new endeavor that you're embarking on. And it's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. So the fact that you're brave enough to do it, sorry about the sirens in the background, but the fact that you're brave enough to do it is really giving you sort of this relaxed kind of attitude towards life, because I think you're so focused on whatever this endeavor is that there's no time to second guess like what you're wearing or how your body looks in a certain outfit, or you know, or your hair, your makeup. Like you're not fixated on your physical appearance so much because you have bigger fish to fry is kind of the energy that's coming through. And I think for many of you it could be career related. With the King of Pentacles showing up here, there could be something in terms of your career that you're wanting to do, that like when you actually get some time off to have fun and enjoy yourself, you want to have fun and enjoy yourself. You don't want to be so worried about how you look. So it's almost like it just doesn't matter to you as much. You're more focused on your success and your goals more than anything, which is kind of an interesting message. I also feel like with the King of Pentacles here, You're attracting people into your life who have something to offer you. You know, it's like kind of like as you level up in your success, you're attracting people who are at a similar level of success and achievement as you. And so you're not just being the only person in the dynamic who is being giving. And this includes like not only romantic partnerships, but also in friendships and in work and business, you know. I feel like you're just attracting people who have something to offer you. I actually kind of need to get more cards because I feel like right now as it stands, we're not getting too much information about your style changing. I will say that with the King of Pentacles here, you could be looking a little bit more expensive. You know how it is like sometimes with like higher end clothing brands, it's not about you know, it's more about like the simplicity and the cut and the fit and the quality of the fabrics more than like some sort of flashy, trendy, of the moment design. So I think that could be something that's changing in your style, is that you're investing in quality pieces, and it's less about having like this huge wardrobe with like trends that are going to be gone tomorrow. That's also a message that's coming through. But even like, I feel like even when you are even when you're just wearing a t-shirt and jeans, it's the expensiveness of it, it's the cut of it, it's the fit of it. You know, I feel like there's a shift in how you dress, and less of a focus on trendiness, I guess. Now, I will say too, with the world here, you all just come across as someone who's so like conscious. Like, you know, I'm talking about like higher quality of clothing, but I feel like there's also this message of like sustainability that's like kind of like coming out of left field, but it kind of feels like you're just making more conscious decisions about like where you choose to shop and who you give your money to. And you know, like, I don't feel like you would be, I feel like once you have the money and the resources, you wouldn't be spending money on like fast fashion. Like, you would be spending money on style pieces, clothing pieces, accessories, and things like that that are from like small businesses that are eco-conscious, that are sustainable, that like you know, like you could go to the thrift store and hunt for like quality pieces, and then go into your local tailor and get them fitted to you. Or you could be a bit crafty yourself and, you know, reinvent them in some ways, you know, if you're good at sewing or something like that. But yeah, you're kind of a little bit of an odd group here. I'm getting a little bit of Aquarius vibes from you all. You don't have to be an Aquarius, but it's kind of just that energy of like thinking more about the world and your place within it and what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And it doesn't really feel like you're the type of person who would even put so much care or thought into it now. You may have in the past, but I feel like as you're going through this process here, you're really sort of understanding how like small and limiting it is, how restrictive it is to care so much about trends or what other people think or how you look. It just feels inconsequential to whatever this is that you're working on, like whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. It's kind of like you're carving out your own space in this world for yourself, and you're not so focused or concerned about you know, the superficial things, except when it matters, you know, like, except in terms of like how your consumption of these things, like buying clothing, for example, you know, affects the world, affects the environment, which is, you know, pretty interesting here. We have the Knight of Wands. Okay, you guys really might be traveling. Like, you may go on a trip that changes your perspective in some way. That really changes your ideas, or you're gonna meet someone who is from another country, a different culture, a different background than you, and they're going to be someone who really grounds you and sort of brings you back down to earth and shows you like what is truly important, and how some of these superficial aspects, you know, trying to keep up with the Joneses, you know, that expression, isn't really healthy. You know, like they really sort of teach you like comparison is the thief of joy. You know, these things don't matter. You know, what truly matters here, celebration, good times, stability, creating something long lasting. You know, I feel like this person, if you're resonating with a Knight of Wands character coming into your life, this would be Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. You could meet someone. It doesn't have to be romantic, although with the Four of Wands here, it definitely could be romantic. But I feel like this person's going to inspire you. They're going to get you out of that like mental prison, and they're going to feel like a wish come true. And I feel like they're going to bring about this sort of perspective shift where, you know, you're not so self-conscious, you're not so worried about how you look, and you start to change the way in which you buy things, the way in which you consume things, and what you think is important. Even for some of you, it could be like you're changing over, you know, your beauty and your skincare routine so that you're not using any products that are tested on animals. You know, something like that could be like a big shift for you. Or, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit sniffly. Could be that you're more willing to experiment. You're more willing to look a bit different than what like, you know, the typical like beauty standard is. But the Knight of Wands though, they're definitely going to inspire you. Now for those of you who are not resonating with that, again, it could be you traveling to another place. So it's either someone else from a different culture, background, country, who is influencing you, or you are traveling to a different place, and that place, you know, inspires you, influences you. You could also meet someone while traveling, so feel free to claim 1, 2, or all 3 of those messages, whatever resonates with you. Just always remember, it's a general reading. Ace of Swords, yeah, it feels more like you're having this epiphany. You know, it feels like it's either you're having it, or some other place or culture is sparking it, or some person from another place or culture is sparking this epiphany within you. And I think you're redefining like what it means to feel successful, what it means to feel like you're sort of winning at life. And again, like I think old things you used to worry about no longer feel like they matter. Like being so worried about how your hair looks today, like if that's gonna ruin your whole day, if your hair is wrong, like you don't care anymore. And it just feels, Pile 2 had a real sense of freedom, and you have a sense of freedom as well, but Pile 2 was more of like society and other people were projecting restraints on them, whereas you, it feels more like you were putting a lot of that on yourself. Like it feels like you all are my perfectionists who have sort of rehabilitated that part of themselves, you know, like you understand now that that perfection that you were seeking was never going to come about anyway. And so you're letting that go, and you're just letting yourself be. You're letting yourself be. We have a child, nature, friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. I think you're becoming a person of the earth, you know, a person of the environment. You know, I feel like in terms of your physical appearance, I could see you guys making like a major shift where you go vegan, or you go vegetarian, or, you know, you just cut back on, you know, foods that are not, you know, organic, or foods that are highly processed, you know, and obviously making a major change like that in your diet is going to show up in your physical body, right? In more ways than just one. I'm not just talking about your weight. It could be also your like your energy level, and things like that. But yeah, it feels like you're making some major changes that are going to make you feel more connected with the earth. I feel like you're getting out of that sort of like, this feels more like overall wellness. Like it feels very holistic because it feels like you're going through a pretty major shift in your lifestyle, and that's going to show up in your style in terms of your appearance and also your physical body. Like it feels like you're taking more walks. It feels like you're spending more time in nature. It feels like you're eating cleaner, cleaner, whatever that means to you. It feels like you're moving your body. Feels like a sense of like peace, like you're meditating, you feel connected. It feels like you feel spiritually aligned, those things. It feels like you're more aware again, like of your physical body and how you are being influenced by, being influenced by society and your own self-limiting beliefs, and how are you reconciling that? How are you moving past that need for perfection? And almost like, because remember we had the high priestess in the very beginning, kind of feels like you're learning a lot from animals in sort of a way of like, you're responding to your own needs, I think, with a lot more ease. If you were really restrictive maybe before, about like when you would eat, or you just had a lot of rules for yourself. We picked up on that perfectionism, right? Maybe you start doing like intuitive eating, or maybe you change something about your sleep schedule so it feels more comfortable for you, and not like when you should go to bed, because you were having insomnia anyway, so it wasn't even working out for you. Things like that. It just feels like you're making these lifestyle changes that are then showing up, in your physical body. We have poet, expresses soul insights in symbolic language. It does feel like you all are sort of my philosophers. There's this romanticism to you with poet. I think you have a very unique, soft way of viewing the world. Like it feels very like Earth Mother, feels very romantic. Again, like we're just talking about energy, we're not talking about gender. But it feels like almost like you're stepping into like your hippie phase here. Like it feels like a softer, gentler way of living. There's this YouTube channel, and I'm really trying to remember, oh man, what is her name? If I remember, I will put it in the description box, but she just showed up on my home feed one day as like a recommended video, and maybe it's like Cottage Fairy or something, I don't know. She lives in this adorable cottage and leads like a solitary kind of life, although I think she's married now, but she had some videos about living alone in this like cabin or cottage in the middle of nature, kind of off the grid a little bit. And she has a very like gentle way of speaking, and she like collects wildflowers, and she grows her own food, and she I was just talking about how she was able to do this because of the support of her family, and she understood how like larger societal structures were affecting her, but also how she had the safety net of her family and the gratitude she felt for that. It's just this really like self-reflective and very conscious way of living and understanding how, everything was affecting her, and how her power, her control resulted, was in how she would respond, right? How she would react to these things that were affecting her, and like really living in her own terms and not comparing herself to what society or like what her friends thought she should be doing, or her own belief about what she should be doing. Because again, like I think for you all, it's really inner, like you've been breathing in kind of the smog of like society and what society says and whatnot. But I think for you all, it's really like you've internalized it. And so now, even if society stops saying those things, like you've internalized it and you're saying it to yourself, in that sense of perfectionism and like, this is what I should be doing, this is where I should be at, this is how I should look, this is how I should be. You got to get rid of the should here. And so I feel like you're just living a more romantic life. Like you're living a life that, feels more like poetry, you know, a life that is filled with more art, more beauty, you know, closer to nature. It really feels like you're stepping into that divine feminine energy. And I think that's a major shift for you, because I think before you were really more confident in that divine masculine. I've got to exert control, and this need to control things. And I think you're letting that go. And I think you're able to teach what you've learned to other people. You see how they're splitting open the world here. You've gotten repeated messages about the world and the environment and earth. And so I feel like you are sharing this wisdom with other people. You're showing other people that there's a better, healthier, easier, more natural way to live than what has already been done. And so I think, you know, you could really help other people let go of that need for perfectionism. If I had to say anything, I feel like you're going to feel so much healthier, like a holistic sense of overall well-being. You are going to feel so much healthier. And I think a lot of your routine is going to be a lot more natural. I mean, you really may start a garden, you know, you may change your products so that they are more natural, so that when you read the ingredient list, you know what's in it, kind of thing. You know, you're gonna buy from brands that you trust, or buy from small businesses, you know, like this is the type of person who would be shopping on Etsy, you know, or who would be going to their local farmer's market, or, you know, like I said, people who would be like growing their own herbs, you know, things like that. Even just wearing your hair naturally and not, you know, doing things that are maybe a bit more artificial. Like it feels like everything is becoming more natural in your life. Okay, let's get some oracle messages here. Also, there's someone talking outside. I hope you can't hear it, because I can hear it. It's like a little bit muffled. I hope that you all can't hear it. Okay, ooh, tattoo fairy. Haha! So, more natural, yes, but not entirely. You guys could be getting some tattoos. That's a pretty direct, clear message. Also, kind of like you may be getting tattoos that commemorate like your travels. Like if you're resonating with that travel message, you could be getting tattoos that commemorate your travels. As a way of like remembering all the places you've been. You could also be getting tattoos that maybe like if you resonated with that, was it a king or a knight? If you resonated with that Knight of Wands being a potential like friend or love interest who comes into your life and opens up your eyes, then you could be getting a matching tattoo with them, or just a tattoo. You could be just going and getting the tattoo together, but not necessarily like a matching tattoo. Or you could be getting a tattoo that reminds you of a memory you share with that person, or something that illustrates like what you learned from them, because I do think that they are teaching you something. And it's funny too, because it does feel like this is like my alternative lifestyle group. Like I think the way that you're gonna be living is not the norm, and that's why you're teaching it to other people. And so when I think of an alternative lifestyle, like you do tend to think of tattoos, right? Tattoos are definitely more mainstream than they were before, but there was a time when, you know, tattoos were viewed as really counterculture and something that, you know, people would judge you for. They would make a lot of judgments if you had tattoos. And even today, like certain working professions, like it's not seen as professional or appropriate to have visible tattoos. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if you all are like my artsy group, my creatives, my writers, my musicians, my artists, mine. You guys are my people. You know what I mean though. I wouldn't be surprised. You could even be a tattoo artist watching this reading, and this is confirmation for you. But I also feel like with Tattoo Fairy, like even if you're not wanting a tattoo, just the message of showing up as yourself and not as something that like you know, other people think that you should look like or be, you know, like maybe you're dressing or styling your hair in a way that is alternative, or you're doing your makeup in a way that is alternative, or again, just your lifestyle is alternative now to, you know, like the dominant culture. Let's get one more card for you all. Ah, beloved. Beloved. Again, it's like that Earth Mother energy. I feel like you're being so maternal towards yourself. You know, you're taking care of yourself. You're healing that inner child. You know, you're allowing yourself to just be in the moment, be present. I think that's going to really show up in your interactions with other people. Also, what could bring about, for those of you who are wanting a child, this is a very specific message, but for those of you who are wanting a child, it could be that some of the changes you bring about are because you want to be more natural during your pregnancy. And obviously a pregnancy would definitely change your physical appearance. And I know there's certain rules when you're pregnant, that, you know, certain things you can't do, like I think it's dye your hair. I don't think you're allowed to dye your hair, or certain chemicals are bad when you're pregnant. So for those of you, you know, who are wanting that, this could be confirmation. Or for those of you who are watching this and are early in your pregnancy, this could be confirmation that you chose the right group. I feel like for others of you too, like the lessons that you're learning and the way that you're living in this natural, holistic, connected to the earth, connected to the moon cycles, connected to the seasons, you know, this divine, feminine, nurturing, loving energy that you now have is something that you could pass on to your children. You know, a lesson that you would pass on to your children, you know, letting go of that control, letting go of that need for perfectionism, could also be a message. And remember, we did get in the beginning that that Knight of Wands could be someone from a different culture or country or background than you, who comes forth and teaches you something, right? That could end up being your life partner if you're resonating with that, and you could have children with that person. Sometimes these readings go in an odd direction, so if you want to claim that message, feel free to claim that message as well. Okay, pile 3, how is your style changing your physical appearance? What do we need to know? Also, just with the way she's dressed here, and then the way that she's dressed here, like here it's a corset, right? And here it looks like very loose, very free-flowing clothes. Again, I feel like you just wear what feels good, what feels natural to you, and you're less concerned with fitting into a certain aesthetic, or less concerned with like fitting into a mold of a certain style. Again, like very Aquarian energy, like very conscious of the world, but also very very like unique, very true to the self, you know, wanting to stand out, wanting to follow the beat of your own drum kind of thing. Pile 3, what do we need to know about your future style, your future appearance here? Also with the repeating blues, I just feel like you're really connected to spirit, you're connected to your intuition. I don't think that you're afraid to speak up. I don't think that you're afraid to share these new ideas that you have. Your throat chakra working well, third eye working well. And I think honestly you're meant to disseminate a lot of these ideas. We have joy. Yeah, I think you're just living from a healthier place here. You're living from a healthier place, and it just makes you feel happy. You know, your body feels nourished. You feel so nourished. Your soul feels nourished. Health, yeah. I feel like that's what your focus is health. Like, you're not focused on achieving some sort of like goal of like, I want to weigh X amount of pounds, or you're not so focused on, you know, having the perfect wardrobe, the perfect hair, the perfect skincare routine. You know, it's just, how can I make changes to my lifestyle, to my daily routine, to my habits? How can I change the products that I'm using? How can I change my habits around consumption? how can I find my place in this world? How can I interact with the environment and animals in a healthier way? And that creates a sense of joy, a sense of peace, a sense of health and wellness. And you realize how strong you are and how very capable you are of taking care of yourself. Even again, like to the point of like growing your own food. Like there's just such an energy here of mothering yourself. Like I can't say it enough. Like it just feels like such a beautiful, beautiful energy. It feels like an entire quality of life upgrade. Like this is so beyond just your physical outer appearance. This is really like, what is my dream life and how can I step into it? And it's not a perfect life. It's not about perfection. It's about something, a lifestyle that feeds my soul, that feeds my physical body, that feeds my emotional and mental wellness, that feeds my spiritual needs. It's very all-encompassing, very holistic. That's the word that they keep saying to me over and over again. Like, you're like a fairy sprite, like living in the forest. Like I don't know how to like how to convey this. It's like you know, like just this fairy tale kind of book life, like just this simplicity of it. It's so simple. And it's like you've boiled it down to basics. Like you've torn everything down and it's like you've started over from scratch and you've created something that is going to support you, this lifestyle that's going to support you for the rest of your days. Like I don't know how to explain it, but pile 3, like wow. Wow. Yeah, it just feels beautiful. I'm excited for you all. Okay, let's look at your goddess card that I pre-pulled. This card will end your reading. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, again, goddess. Not talking about gender, just energy. Okay, it says be there for you. This really makes me think of Gemini energy with the twins. It really feels like you're being your own supporter in a lot of ways, you know? Like it just feels like it really feels like an incorporation of, you know, if we had to identify your shadow self, it would be predominantly that perfectionism. And so it's like you've taken that attention to detail and that desire to have things look nice, and you flipped it and said, how can I take something that has been detrimental to my health and turn it into my inner strength? How can I integrate this shadow part of me? And that attention to detail is something that you've used to go through your life and assess your life and say, what is not feeding my wellness? What is not feeding my health? In what ways am I not mothering myself? In what ways am I not taking care of myself? In what ways is my life not conducive to joy? And how can I fix that? How can I remedy that? Because that is within my control. And then using that need for control in a way that is healthy, in a way that is productive, in a way that is nourishing. And so it's marrying that divine feminine and that divine masculine energy and being there for yourself. And because you're able to be there for yourself, you're able to teach other people how to do this as well. And so that is your message. Pile 3. I hope you liked this reading. It was very different than what I expected, but when the messages come through, I read them as they are. So that was what came through. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Hit the notification bell so you always know when I upload. A huge, huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel. The easiest way to do that is to continue to watch the videos and watch the ads. I know that can be an inconvenience, but know that I do appreciate it. And yes, I will see you guys in my next one. Again, a thank you to everyone for your support. I'm very grateful, and I will see you guys later. Take care.